This is a finished product. I made it for my sister. And she has two young kids, so it's very fitting for her. I love that. It reminded me of her. At the time I started this, I couldn't print from my computer, which would be the way I do some signs sometimes. I'll lay it out and I can print it on paper. And you can print it to actual size and just tape your sheets of paper together and use carbon paper to trace it onto something. Well, I couldn't print because I had a computer crash, need a new laptop. My printer is old enough that it won't work with my tablet or my phone without a router. The router's packed away. I have another computer, but that's still packed away. I can't get that out, and it's big and I have no room for it. So I'm on limitations until I get a house. So I did this the old-fashioned way, which I'm not a perfect letterer. There's some sign painters that can letter with a quill brush, and they can do it like in one stroke and do these lettering. That's just amazing. But I worked for a sign company a long time, so I'm familiar with the method, but I can't do it, and I don't have the right paint or the right quills. So using craft paints, and I was able to, I took sheets of paper, taped them together to the right size, and I laid out like a grid of where I wanted the letters. So you give yourself the top and bottom lines, and you give yourself a line where you want things like an H or an E. That line you want the same all the way across your lines of letters. Now each line on this one is different, and I just did that because it's fun. Each line of text I just did kind of a different style of writing, just so this is bolder and you read it first. Now a trick with some of these are not, because I did this totally by hand and stuff, things are not identical, but it's kind of unique that way. But generally a rule in lettering is anything rounded, the D does hang down a little more, but oh well. Rounded letters like D's, the S's, O's, the bottom curved part always will hang below your line a little bit. And you kind of play around with your spacing. Doing it on paper, I was able to erase and redraw, and I did that quite a bit. So I got it fairly good. I like it. It's a handcrafted one, so I think it turned out cute. And I don't have the right kind of brush to get everything in one stroke, which if you look at my brushes, I don't know, I might have something in there. This whole thing is full of brushes. But no, actually I don't have the right. My lettering quill is a long tapered brush. I'll have to look for getting one of those and practice on that. So this one, really anybody could do. I laid the paper, since I couldn't find my carbon paper, another thing is packed away. I laid the paper down on top of this, taped it on there, and I just took a ballpoint pen and traced the letters. So that gave me a guideline. And on the paper I erased and respaced and even cut this line off of the paper because it was tilting down a little too much on the end, so I was able to adjust that. So anybody could do this. It doesn't have to be perfect. I actually go and touched up with the background color. This is a latex exterior paint on the background. Something from a rummage sale. I like to find paint at rummage sales. It's cheap. But I love this color. It's not quite red and burgundy or berry colored. It's a neat color. So I think she'll like this. I'm going to post a few pictures so you can kind of see some of the progress as I went along. Just a few. It's not real detailed. But again, it's something you can go back and clean up your mistakes. You can go over letters and reshape them with the paint and just cover up things with the background paint. Then it's fairly forgiving. So don't be afraid of something if you start painting something and it doesn't look good right away. It just needs a little touch up. You can just keep on working on it. And my paintings go the same way. When the start of a painting, it looks terrible. It's all in the details, so you just keep on working at it. It probably took me 3 hours maybe total, but at different times I'd sit down and do this. So there's a little time consuming in the lettering part. That was 3 hours in the lettering. I had the board already and just painted the color on the background. So, finished product. I'll post some pictures on the end of this. I'll tack them onto this video and show you.